Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I am Caitlin Giles McCormick here with NJEDA, and today's session is on the pilot program for Clean Tech Demonstration Grants, round 2. And we have a lot of information to share today. I'm going to shift things over to the Executive Director of CSIT, the Commission on Science, Innovation, and Technology, Judith Sheft. Judith?
Great. Thank you, Caitlin, and welcome to everyone who's joining us for this information webinar. Our clean tech programs that we have been doing for a number of years at the Commission on Science, Innovation, and Technology have been done with funding from the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities and done in partnership on an implementation matter with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. The Clean Tech Pilot Program will be discussed by Shruti Kaul, who's one of our CSIT program officers, and I think you'll find the program really very exciting. We have found that companies who have been able to participate in the program have been able to really achieve very significant demonstration results associated with their technology. We're delighted that you're here to be able to participate in the webinar. But additional information will be posted on the website under the frequently asked questions section. And now I'm going to turn it over to Shruti to talk about the Pilot Clean Tech Demonstration Grant Program, round 2. Shruti.
Shruti,
if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
Yeah. Okay, maybe just go ahead and I don't think you had your headphones on before. Can I go ahead and take those off?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds great.
Thanks for that. I'm not sure. Alrighty, we'll get started on this again. Alrighty, so let's get started on the Pilot Clean Tech Demonstration Grant Program, and it's for round 2, the information.
You want to put it in a presentation mode?
There we go. Beautiful. Looks good.
So today we'll go over the program overview, submission process, eligibility criteria, some of the required documents, scoring criteria, bonus points, terms and conditions, important details, and last but not least, timelines. So the goal of this pilot program is to support New Jersey-based companies to accelerate the commercialization and deployment of innovative clean energy technologies by demonstrating capabilities in a real-world setting. Some of the targeted industries include chemical advanced materials, energy distribution or storage, energy efficiency generation, green buildings, transportation, waste processing, water, and agriculture. This grant will be awarded on a competitive basis, with awards going to the highest scoring applicants. So this program has a total budget of $3,750,000 for 15 award grants of up to $250,000 each. Each approved grant will be valid for a period of 24 months from the date of the execution of the grant agreement. There is an extension for up to an additional 3 months, which may be permitted at the sole discretion of CSIT. Now, the goal of this program is to help early stage clean tech innovation-based companies in New Jersey accelerate development of technologies to transform new technologies from research state into commercially viable products and services. The purpose of this grant is to enable recipients to make a significant progress by demonstrating capabilities in a real-world setting and to have a meaningful impact on commercialization outcomes. For this, companies must be developing or testing clean technologies intended to avoid emissions of or recapture of greenhouse gases, and or criteria pollutants, or to enable such avoidance or recapture. Let's go over the disbursement of funds. The funds will be dispersed on a milestone basis. Each milestone will have deliverables which must be submitted and approved before receiving the funding for that specific milestones. Starts off by 60% of the grant will be dispersed upon the execution of the grant agreement. The second disbursement, which is the 30%, will be dispersed when interim milestones stated in the proposal are reached and with the submission of an approved interim project completion report. And this is usually at the 12-month mark from the execution of the grant agreement. The final disbursement, which is a 10% of the grant, will be dispersed upon the submission of an approved economic impact report and the final project completion report, which is approximately the 24 months after the execution of the grant agreement. Now, if a company does reach their interim milestones before that 12-month or the 24-month period, the submission of an approved interim project completion report can occur before those milestones, those 12 months and the 24 months. So let's discuss the use of funds. This grant funding can be utilized for project demonstration activities, including labor costs related to the pilot demonstration, materials, equipment, and supplies for the pilot demonstration, travel expenses related to the pilot demonstration, or other operating costs incurred during the pilot demonstration. If the demonstration project will involve construction, reconstruction, demolition, custom fabrication, repair work, or maintenance work, including painting and decorating, with construction costs totaling $2,000 or more, and award of a construction contract, the project must comply with the New Jersey Department of Labor's Public Works Contractor Registration Act, the NJEDA's prevailing wages statutes and rules, and NJEDA's affirmation action statutes and rules. In addition, no more than 10% of the budget proposed for the applicant's project in the aggregate may be spent on IP patent prosecution and license-related expenses. Now to go over the ineligible uses. The following expenses or the following expense categories are ineligible for funding by this grant. These include direct services to individuals or organizations, manufacturing of products for sale or commercial use, real estate rental expenses, patient clinical trial expenses, marketing and customer discovery, travel, entertainment, and other similar expenses, allocation of just general overhead expenses, any expenditures incurred before the grant agreement is signed by both the grantee and CSIT, any expenses for equipment and materials that applicant does not use for the project during the project period, and lastly, just fees related to the conferences you may attend. This is the program overview for the application part. There are several tabs and sections for the application, which include from welcome eligibility questions, company information, primary contact information. And when you are putting this primary contact information, please make sure that you are putting the email that will be checked and replied, especially for the CSIT matters. And also you can whitelist us, so that will ensure that you are receiving communication from us and you don't miss out on it. Next is the project descriptions, milestones and budget, your go-to market strategy, the team information, legal questionnaire, and some of the attachments that I will go over later in the webinar. And lastly is the submission, the most important part. The application review and overall and approval process is shown here. So you would complete the online application. We will do a document completion review. If there are any missing documents, CSIT will reach out to you specifying those documents and the due date, which is within 10 business days. The next part is a subject matter expert review, will review the application, and scoring will be done by CSIT and EDA. And lastly, awards will be recommended to the CSIT board. Now, I just want to emphasize here that a valid New Jersey tax clearance certificate listing a New Jersey Commission on Science, Innovation, and Technology as the agency is due no later than August 1st if it's already not submitted with the application. If this is not submitted by August 1st, the application will be incomplete and therefore withdrawn. So who can participate in this? Each applicant to the program must meet the following eligibility criteria at the time of the application, during the entire review, and the approval period eligible for the award. You must be authorized and in good standing to conduct business in New Jersey, have a current New Jersey tax clearance certificate addressed to the New Jersey Commission on Science, Innovation, and Technology, have no more than 50 full-time equivalent employees, and which are calculated on a 35-hour week at the time of the application. You must have a minimum of 2 full-time workers, and again, they're calculated on the 35 hours per week. A founder can be counted as a worker, and a worker can be paid or unpaid. 50% or more of the cumulative hours worked by all workers, founders, and contracts must be conducted in New Jersey. And again, this is calculated on the FTE basis of 35 hours per week. Must also have less than $5 million in the prior calendar year sales revenue, and this number does exclude any grant revenue. You must have also achieved a technology readiness level or TRL from 6 to 8 for the project proposed for this funding. The TRL 6 is where system, process, model, or prototype demonstration in a relevant environment. This is the beta prototype systems. This is prototyping implementations are partially integrated with the existing systems. Engineering feasibility fully demonstrated in actual or high fidelity system applications in an environment relevant to the end user. TRL 7 is for the system process prototype demonstration in an operational environment, and this is the integrated pilot system. This is where the system prototyping demonstration in operational environment system is at or near full scale, which could be pilot or engineering scale, of the operational system, with most functions available for demonstration and test. Did the system, component, or process is integrated with collateral and ancillary systems in a near production quality prototype. And the last TRL 8, which is the actual system or process, completed and qualified through test and demonstration. This is pre-commercial demonstration. End of system development. This is a full-scale system in a fully integrated into operational environment with fully operational hardware and software systems. All functionality is tested and stimulated and operational scenarios with demonstrated achievement of end user specifications. Here, technology is ready to move from development to commercialization. To go over some of the more eligibility criteria, the pilot demonstration project must be conducted in New Jersey. The pilot demonstration project is defined as a core project proposed by the applicant. You must also have a letter from one or more strategic partners confirming the strategic partners' willingness to conduct the pilot demonstration project, subject to receipt of funding, and describing their role in the pilot demonstration project. And this can include from providing a location or facility, conducting the actual testing or evaluations. Applicants are limited to a single application for this program. The recipients of 2 or more active CSIT seed, that could be any type of CSIT seed grants and or demonstration grants, are ineligible for this program. So we're going to start going over some of the required documentations. So the first thing is you complete an online application. The next is that you show the evidence that proof of concept has been achieved for the project. And you can show this by some of the different ways: a description of proof of concept results, any published paper outlining results achieved, the successful completion of a federal SBIR or STTR grant or contract related to the project, confirmation documentation from a university tech transfer office if the project relates to technology that has been developed at the same university. Also, the letter from one or more strategic partners confirming their willingness to conduct the pilot demonstration project and describing their role. There's a budget and milestone proposal, and this is an Excel template which is embedded into the online application. So make sure that is filled out. The employee information as appropriate for applicable company structure and staffing. So that could be the most recent NJWR 30 or 1099 or shareholders or K1 or offer letters. Do note that if a professional employment organization or PEO is utilized, the applicant must submit confirmation of PEO-A form issued by the New Jersey Department of Labor. These confirmations are issued on an annual basis and are typically valid for a year. And we have the website here listed if you are wanting to look at some more additional information on those. Next is summary of most recent internal payroll indicating each employee name, including the founder and the number of hours worked per week. And the most recent company tax filing or federal 941 and either an NJCBT-100 or form 1065 or 1040 or whichever is applicable to the organizational form of your business, showing that the total gross receipts or sales of the year. Now, if you do not have some of these requirements, if it's a newer company, or if you do not have some of the paid employees, you can submit that information on a company letterhead stating the specifications for your organizations. And if you have any questions on that, we'd be happy to provide additional clarification on that when you reach out to us. And the continuation of required documents. This is very important because this is a current valid New Jersey tax clearance certificate, again, listing the New Jersey Commission on Science, Innovation, and Technology as the agency. Again, if this is not submitted, if you do not submit this when you submit your application, you have to submit it by August 2024, or your application will be considered incomplete and therefore withdrawn. Now, if applicable, a copy of the woman, minority, veteran, or LGBTQ plus owned business, this is the New Jersey certifications, are also due no later than August 1st, 2024, or the relevant bonus points will not be awarded. Also, if applicable, a copy of the executed university license agreement with the university is also due on August 1, 2024, or any relevant bonus points will not be awarded. When you're doing the application, you will also do a completed application certification, the completed CSIT legal department questionnaire, which is again also part of the online application. And for companies doing sort of business with a DBA name or doing business as, CSIT does require a proof of New Jersey registration reflecting the same. We're happy to be joined by Jermaine Parms, who's the Director of Diversity and Business Development at the EDA. And I'm going to hand it over to Jermaine to discuss some of the certifications. Jermaine?
Thank you, Shruti. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for making a value-based decision to join us and receive this great information. My name is Jermaine Parms. I'm Director of Diversity and Business Development at EDA. We can go to the next slide and get that wonderful picture off. Thank you. So some of the certifications that are available as it applies to this specific offering are minority, women, veteran, LGBTQ+. The state does offer LGBTQ+ certification now. So there is an opportunity on that side to go after bonuses. We wanted to make sure that you have some support. A lot of times people are told they have to get certified and nobody explains to you exactly what certification is, what do you have to do to get it, and how it can help you. Now, for us specifically, because of course we operate by the state of New Jersey, we're asking you to get certified by the state of New Jersey Department of Treasury to make sure we know that your business has been vetted and considered for one of these categories respectfully. You should apply for certification because it can help you with not just this. There are a lot of offerings by way of diverse programs and support programs, trainings, and other things that are offered to businesses in diverse categories. Another category we have that's not specific to this program is small business, and of course, service-disabled veteran business. So there are many opportunities to go after your certification, utilize it, and try to find these additional opportunities. The state certification can be found online. So if you look at item 3, where it says, how do you apply for certification? You can initiate the process completely online, readily available to upload your documents and apply that way. That's the most express way. Before, you used to have to prepare a packet and send it off to Treasury. This is the most express way to get Treasury your information and try to get in the pipeline as soon as possible to receive some type of notification, and if you qualify. Now, this is important. If you know you're going to be applying not just for this or anything else that we may offer, things like your tax clearance certificate, your certification, if you're going to apply for certification, you need to really look into those items right away. There's so many times we get towards the back end or towards the finish line, and we have applicants that say, oh, I haven't yet asked for my tax clearance certificate, or I haven't put in for my certification. These are not, and I want to stress to every business that's listening to my voice, these are not 1, 2, 3 processes. There are audits. There are many people in the pipeline, and you want to give yourself an opportunity to really be in the pipeline early as possible to get an answer in time to be applicable for the specific programs and grants that are being offered. Some of the basics in terms of what they offer, which most businesses should have, they'll ask you for proof that you actually have a business, your New Jersey registration showing that you have a business that operates and resides in New Jersey, may ask you for your tax returns. Normally, that's a staple of certification for them to ask you for 2 to 3 years worth of your taxes. They're definitely going to ask for the resumes of principal by way of women and minority. and veteran, they're going to ask you for items specific to that, whether it's ID. On the veteran side, they're going to ask you for your 214 and other items that could be applicable. So you want to make sure that you have the most accurate package of information that they're going to request from you, because what happens is you will get an additional information request if they don't have everything available, which puts you back on a clock to then try to get them those items and get back in the queue. So my message always is to have the most complete package to send to Treasury, answer every question, even if you have to make a notation just to answer something that's not applicable to you. If it can be something as simple as them asking you if you have a joint venture, just make sure you write an answer or give something that doesn't leave something open-ended. So on average, it can take about 30 to 45 days. So again, stressing to get in that door as soon as possible to make sure that you are equipped to get a faster turnaround. All right. Now I'm a part of this process because we want to make sure that you have support. Again, a lot of businesses are told, well, you got to get certified. Sometimes it's the first you've ever heard of. I guarantee you there's some businesses on this call that are probably certified by an agency, and there are some that they've never heard of it. They don't know what to do, and the process can be overwhelming. So we're here to make sure that you have support for that. So that's why the next slide is going to be important. Here's my information. So if you find that you're applying for certification and there's something you don't understand or there's a question, please ask. We're here to give you every opportunity to make it to the finish line. So I directly put my information there to make sure that you have the back end support, you're able to answer the questions and navigate as quickly as possible through the process. So I just wanted to chime in because these items are always very critical, especially for businesses that are looking to obtain those bonuses. We want to act, in a very efficient manner. We want to act quickly. So thank you again for your time. At this time, I'll turn back over to Shruti, and thank you again for making a value-based decision to join us.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, we will go over the scoring criteria. So how are these applications scored? Strategy will grant you up to 20 points. The implementation plan, budget and milestone, and again, this is part of the application. This is 20 points. The economic and broader impacts such as environmental, health, education, housing, safety, infrastructure will allow you up to 10 points. And lastly, but not least, the team itself will allow you up to 20 points. And I do want to make a caveat here saying that the applicants must achieve a minimum of 70 points, and this is out of 100, to be eligible for this grant. So moving on to the, continuing on the application. So the New Jersey certified women-owned business will allow you 10 points. If you have the minority-owned business certification, it will also give you 10 points. And the same goes for veteran-owned business and the LGBTQ+ owned businesses. So that's 10 points each. If a company is using technology initially developed at a New Jersey university under an executed license agreement with such university, it will give you 15 points. If the applicant's primary place of business or research and development is located within an opportunity zone eligible census tract or the government restricted areas, municipalities will give you 5 points. And if a company has not received a CSIT grant voucher, that will also give you up to 10 points. Oh, and the government restricted municipalities, that's Lake City, that's Camden, and that is Patterson. So if you're in those areas, you would be able to get the 5 points.
It's actually Trenton, not Camden.
I apologize.
No worries.
Thank you for correcting that. Alrighty, so the terms and conditions for reporting, all grant awardees must provide an economic impact report to CSIT upon the completion of the projects. That's the 24-month period, and then yearly for an additional 3 years, and that is due on February 1st. For the commitment to New Jersey, for 5 years from the date of the agreement, workers and consultants for the company must conduct at least 50% of their work in a New Jersey location. And failure to comply will be a condition of default of the grant and may result in a full repayment of the grant. And for the CSIT events, we may have to participate in a future CSIT or NJEDA alumni activities. And this can look anywhere from serving as a panel member, for a conference, or conducting interviews about the program experience itself. And lastly, the site visit. To participate in one in-person interim site visit from the CSIT and EDA team for update on the project. Alrighty, the important information on the website, we have our NOFAs and FAQ. We will also do an update FAQ, and you'll be able to find more details on the website. The application portal itself is set to open on June 3rd at 9 a.m. EST, and it will remain open through July 12th until 5 p.m. And I encourage you to start applying and finish your application well in advance of the July 12th, 5 p.m. deadline, because as soon as it hits July 12th at 5 p.m. in Trenton, the portals are closed and will not reopen. So definitely go in advance, so you have time to review your materials, as well as, if there's any technical issues, you will have time to fix those issues. For the CSIT communication, so any questions or inquiries that you may have are accepted through the application deadline and can be submitted to CSIT Clean Demo at njcsit.gov. And again, all questions received and answered during this portal during this webinar will be answered in the form of a FAQ document, which will be posted, and we will also update it. This will be on the CSIT website. So if there are any questions that you may have, definitely check that document out. And then feel free to send us an email if there are any specific company questions or, that's unique to you. On the missing documentation, so at the sole discretion of CSIT, we may ask you for clarification of the information included in the application, including but not limited to any of the narrative responses, supporting documentation and attachments. You will have 10 business days thereafter to provide those missing or incomplete documents. And again, you will receive an email from CSIT team specifying those documents as well as the due dates. These documents should be submitted electronically to the CSIT Clean Demo at njcsit.gov, and make sure you have this in subject line. It'll say Pilot Clean Tech Demonstration Grant Program Round 2, missing document submission, followed by your company name. And again, for the certificates and agreements, so we are encouraging you to obtain copies of your New Jersey documentation early in the process of completing your application. As Jermaine mentioned, it is not like a couple-day process. It may take 30 to 45 business days, even longer, depending on if there's any missing information. So definitely start working on these sooner than later. To specify, just to review what we went over, the New Jersey tax clearance certificate listing, and it must list CSIT. If you do not submit it with the application, it must be submitted no later than August 1st, or the application will be considered incomplete and therefore withdrawn from this program. If applicable, again, the copy of the women, minority, veteran, or LGBTQ owned businesses, and these are New Jersey certifications, and or your executed university license agreements with the university is also must be submitted no later than August 1st, or any of the relevant bonus points will not be awarded. Just some tips on writing an application that will stand out. When you are answering your questions, make sure you're detailed and clear when describing your innovation project. Again, we cannot emphasize enough that you should start early and review your application before you submit. Make sure everything is filled out. And make sure that every answer or each question is fully answered. Please stay clear of jargons. I know sometimes there's industry specific jargons that you're used to, using all the time, but make sure you spell out what those are, because everyone might not be familiar with those terms. And again, the application is due before 5 p.m. and just make sure you start early and try to submit well in advance of this deadline, because again, if it's 5 p.m. in Trenton, the portal is closed and it will no longer be accessible. And once you make any of those changes that you need to make, you hit submit, you cannot go back and make any additional changes to your application. Just to put a program timeline in this perspective, again, today we're having the webinar. The application portal does open on June 3rd, 9 a.m. and closes July 12th at 5 p.m. And the awards for this program, for this round 2, are expected to be made by Q4 of this year, which is 2024. We would like to thank you for taking time out of your day to join us for this webinar. And we have our website and email in case you have any inquiries. And we look forward to receiving your application starting June 3rd.
All right. Well,
And thank you.
Thanks so much, Trudy. That was exceptional. We're just going to jump right into some Q&A. We do have a few questions, and I'll just shoot them over to you, Judith.
Great, thank you.
You and I can field some of these questions here. So we have a few questions around the demonstration project and site. And so a few questions on, does the pilot testing have to be done within New Jersey? Can any of the funding be used outside of New Jersey?
Okay, so let me answer that question. The pilot demonstration project needs to be conducted in New Jersey. It is conceivable that as part of your budget process, perhaps you're having some activity done by a contractor outside of New Jersey, supplying a part or doing an element, but the location of the pilot demonstration project site needs to take place in New Jersey. But you can, as part of your overall budget, use vendors or individuals who are not located in New Jersey as appropriate for the project that you are proposing.
Thank you. There's also a question regarding just the TRL level. When do an applicant need to be at that TRL level 6 through 8? Is it at the time of the application or at the time of the award?
They need to be at all of the eligibility requirements at the time of application. You cannot be projecting that in 6 months, I'm going to be further along in my development project. You need to be at those TRL levels at the time you are submitting your application. And we have certainly the reference information from the Department of Energy with fuller descriptions on what that means to be at those various TRL levels. And as part of the online application process, there's a TRL calculator that a company will be able to utilize to determine whether they are at the correct TRL level.
Perfect. And still on eligibility, a company that has the 2 full-time employees, can one of those employees be paid and the other unpaid?
Yes, that is correct. The 2 full-time employees, we're looking at it based on the number of hours worked of a minimum of 35 hours a week. The 2 employees could be paid or unpaid. One could be paid, one could be unpaid. That is perfectly fine. And I believe Shruti had indicated that if you have individuals who are not receiving compensation as part of your application, you would upload information on a company letterhead indicating the name of the individual, hours worked, and if they are not receiving any compensation, indicate that.
There, again, just sticking with some eligibility questions. If a company, they talked about the ineligible criteria, you can't have 2 or more active seed or demonstration grants. Does this include a company who has a voucher, a CSIT voucher, and SBIR funding
Great,
from us?
great. Thanks for that question. We are only looking at the CSIT seed grants of $75,000 or a pilot demonstration grant of $250,000. A company may have additionally an R&D voucher grant from one of the programs, either Catalyst or SEEP grant, or an SBIR bridge or matching grant. Those do not count in the 2 required minimums.
Okay, very good. Can an applicant submit with the additional required documents a video
No,
to
we are not.
showcase?
Yeah, unfortunately, we are not able to take videos at this time as part of the application process. So please do a good job of describing in written form what it is you are doing. I believe Shruti had mentioned, don't use jargon that might be familiar to you in your industry. Please, take the time. You can save your application before you submit it. You can print it out. You can read it or have another individual on your team read it as well to ensure that you're really describing it in a way that others are going to be able to understand what you're doing.
Great. So from a budget perspective, can you elaborate on how some of our state college partners or university partners can be placed in the budget as probably external partners? Are they eligible to be included as external partners within the budget?
Yes, you can have some of the funding going to an academic partner if they're, again, providing some work on the demonstration project activity.
Okay. If there are any, this is a comment about kind of challenges in accessing some of the institutional and academic partners as a potential partner for this grant. What's your thoughts on any support in helping to build or kind of advance some of the communications that companies are trying to have? Yeah.
Sure. So a couple of things. We have a wonderful website called Research with New Jersey that allows you to search and find potential collaboration partners based on technical areas that are of interest to you. Additionally, on our voucher programs, we meet twice a month with our academic partners. So if there's a particular university that you're having trouble getting in touch with, we can help, make sure that they are getting back to you to have those discussions. I think I did see one other question that someone was asking. The participating in the R&D voucher program, either Catalyst or Clean Tech voucher, does not count as having technology that you've licensed from a New Jersey university. The technology that we're talking about under those licensing agreements would have been technology that the university had originally developed, and then they have licensed to you for further commercialization. The work that you may be doing with an academic partner on the R&D voucher program does not meet that requirement.
Okay. And again, all eligibility requirements does have to be, you have to be in accordance with the eligibility requirements at the time of the submission of your
Yeah.
application. So that also includes the 2 or more active
Yeah.
CSIT projects. What is it, if there's someone on our team, if a company would like to discuss a potential project that they're thinking of, is that allowable?
No, we really cannot discuss a particular idea that you have with you, before you submit your applications. We encourage you to take a look at the information on the website. We can also certainly post on our website, since this is round 2 of the program. We've made 15 other prior awards under this program, and you can take a look to see the kinds of projects that had been funded on round 1. But we can't provide specific guidance around a particular project that someone is considering.
Okay. Going back to some of the ineligible and eligible use of funds, if a demonstration site or strategic partner requires compensation for, say, a monthly lease on the site that the company would be using, is a monthly lease payment allowed within our budget?
I believe the answer is no, because I believe rental expenses are one of the ineligible expenses as part of the projects.
This is a company that was established in Delaware. Are they eligible to apply for this grant?
Sure, it is. Companies frequently are set up as Delaware C Corps. That's perfectly fine. You need to meet the other eligibility requirements in terms of having people based in New Jersey, but you could be a Delaware C Corp, you could be established any place else that you might choose to, but you need to meet all of the eligibility requirements.
And just another budget, can the funding also be used for a third party who provides certifications or building materials, provided that they provide guidance on what the pilot exactly needs to show? So again, this is really kind of taking a look at specifically what, again, it sounds, the answer to this, I think, is yes. It just, again, depends on if those materials are directly associated with your pilot demonstration grant. But I would encourage everyone to take a look at the ineligible uses of funds before they begin their budget. This is another question. Again, all demonstration projects must be conducted in New Jersey. They have to be conducted in New Jersey. You cannot use the funds outside of New Jersey. So this is a question from a round 1 pilot demonstration awardee. Can you apply again if you won round 1 of this grant?
So again, if all you have is a current Clean Tech Pilot Demonstration Grant round 1, and you do not have another CSIT C grant, yes, you can apply for a second pilot demonstration grant in a different related area. Obviously, you're not going to get paid twice to do the same project, but if you have a second project and you currently have a pilot grant round 1 and you do not have any CSIT grants, yes, you can apply for a second pilot demonstration grant.
Yeah. And that kind of goes into our last question. Again, if you are eligible to apply for other CSIT grants, you surely can, in addition to the demonstration. So I think that covers, let me just check the chat here if we have anything else.
I think there was a question asking if you could submit more than one application. You can only, for this opportunity, you can only submit one application. If you have multiple applications somehow get submitted, you'll have to let us know which one you want to have reviewed.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was another question about the due date, which we answered in the chat. Again, the due date is July 12th at 5 p.m. And the other pivotal date that you all should remember is that August 1st date for the tax clearance and any supportive documents to receive a bonus point.
And I would like to encourage people to submit before 5 p.m. because it is when our computer system in Trenton thinks it's 5 p.m. I don't want someone sending us an email 15 seconds after 5 o'clock saying, I wasn't able to get it in. So please submit before 5 p.m. because it will shut off.
Any final thoughts, Judith, Shruti, on the program? I think that we've covered all of the questions in the Q&A.
Well, as I said, we've had some really exciting projects in the past in a wide range of areas, companies working on things around battery technology, grid technology, food and ag, as Shruti mentioned early on. There's a number of different technology areas that you can be applying for, and we've had some really exciting opportunities. And this is really one of our exciting programs, and we really appreciate the support from the Board of Public Utility on providing funding for this initiative. And we look forward to receiving your applications. And again, questions or inquiries, please send us an email so we can review it and then post it in an updated FAQ document. I guess the other point I would encourage people is take the time to read the notice of funding, either online or printed out. Make sure you know what it is we're looking for, particularly around the scoring and judging criteria. Sometimes with an online application, it might look deceiving. You see a box and you start typing. You've got room to type a complete answer. It doesn't, don't think, oh, because it's a short little box. The box will expand to allow you to put in a sufficient amount of text, to do a great job of describing the work that you're engaged in.
Very good. Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. And thank you, Shruti, for presenting on this grant program. Have a great day.